Hi and welcome. Today we're taking a look at one of my favorite maps. It's easy to play and stay effective on it, even if you don't have tons of experience under your belt. Let's start with the right side of the map. I'm pretty sure most of you already know that the majority of your teammates will spawn on the lower spawn point and head straight for point C. Our job, however, is to hold the right flank and stop the enemy team from pushing into point B. Once you reach this position, your main job is to lock down this area. It's the shortest route the enemy can take to reach point B. If you don't manage to destroy the enemy tank right away, be ready to catch it on your left, between the buildings. The key here is to gather intel and figure out how many enemy tanks made it into the city and are pushing toward B. If you're playing a fast vehicle for the first 15 to 20 seconds, keep your eyes on the left side only, and if no one from your team pushes down the A or B line, flank control also becomes your responsibility, so make sure to check your right regularly. Now we just hold this position and wait for enemies coming either toward point B or trying to push through the flank. Here we're playing more of a support role, helping the team by making sure the enemy can't surround us. Always keep in mind that there's usually a bunch of teammates sitting on the opposite side of the river, and more often than not, they're not doing much. So if an enemy rolls out in front of you, don't feel like you have to trade shots or take a 1 versus 1. Just mark them with your machine gun, and in most cases, your team will take care of them. This is a great spot for players who may not be super confident in their skills yet, but still want to contribute. You're doing a ton of work from here that can make a big difference in your team's chance to win. Tanks with poor gun depression can still make good use of this spot. You'll be able to control both the path to point B and the flank just fine. There's also a neat little trick you can use that might come in handy mid-match. If nothing's happening on your flank or you're just getting a bit bored, you can push forward slightly to get a line of sight toward point A. There's a building up ahead with a hole in the roof. From there you can take out enemies hiding behind the hill near point A. It's a cheeky angle that can catch people completely off guard. If there's nothing going on your flank, you can start pushing forward. Some players stop right here and just farm enemies across the river, and that works, but I prefer to move up a bit further. From this position, you get a great view of the opposite bank, and barely anyone checks this angle. Plus, the terrain gives you solid cover from enemies spawning on the upper side, and even if you don't see them coming, you'll usually hear them. Usually is the key word here though, because at the time of recording this video, the audio in the game is completely broken. Unless you or one of your teammates has direct line of sight, enemy tanks can move completely silently, even when they're right next to you. So yeah, it's a risky play, but if you're aware and listening, it can pay off big time. Now I want to show you a position I was actually saving for the Toxic Spots series. But since I'm not sure that series will ever see the light of day, I figured I'd share it with you in this video instead. First, we need to make our way to Sector A2. By the way, this route is super easy to remember. You're just following the road the whole way. The downside to this strategy is how unpredictable the enemy can be. You might run into someone in A1 or they could be hiding in the buildings to your left. So make sure you're constantly checking your left and staying aware of any movement over there. Once you get to this spot, don't rush forward just yet. Take a second to look around and make sure there are no enemies in sight. Once you're confident the area is clear, your next move is to head to Sector C3. Again, just follow the road. It's almost impossible to get lost here. Sometimes you'll run into enemies leaving their spawn. Sometimes you'll get here without facing any resistance at all. From this position, you can see practically half the map, including both enemy spawns. And the best part? You won't show up on the mini-map and you can easily duck behind terrain after taking a shot. At that point, all you need to do is farm. Just farm and farm and farm. Honestly, I don't even know how to comment on a spot this powerful. It lets you spawn camp both enemy spawns and somehow it's still a thing. I mean, come on, Snail. I get it. You've got your hands full fixing broken physics, the sound system is a mess, and yeah, shells are still vanishing mid-flight. But how hard would it be to at least make spawn campers show up on the minimap when they're right next to your spawn? Anyway, this position is absolutely busted. If you're a solo player who prefers to carry through sheer damage output, this is the spot for you. Even a beginner can rack up a ridiculous number of kills here with almost no effort. Tanks with poor gun depression can still play this position just fine, and the low profile of Soviet vehicles makes them especially hard to spot for the enemy. Guys, before we move on to the other side of the map, I just want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you who watches my videos, leaves comments, and drops likes. I still can't believe that this channel, which only started posting videos in 2024 in the insanely competitive War Thunder niche, has already passed 10,000 subscribers in such a short time. You have no idea how much you all mean to me. Honestly, you've completely changed my life and made it so much better. Thank you so much for that. And a special shout out to the absolute legends who hit the join button and became channel members. I truly appreciate your support. Playing from the opposite side is way easier, mainly because we've got an absolutely fantastic spot right near the spawn. You can pretty much hold this position the entire match and be super effective. The key is to get to the hill in grid F3, but here's the thing. A lot of players take the wrong route to this spot and end up getting picked off by enemies who know exactly where to look and go out of their way to hunt down careless players. I strongly recommend using the route I take. It's much safer and gives you a better chance to set up properly without getting caught off guard. From this position, there are a few key areas we need to keep an eye on. Right in front of us, there's a road that's sometimes used by players rotating out of Point C. There's also another route that sees traffic from those poor souls who still haven't figured out what they're doing on this map. Most of them are just on their way to a quick death. You'll also want to watch for enemies trying to push right to flank our team. This spot is unique because it always delivers. You'll find kills no matter what, and it works well in pretty much any situation, whether your team is winning or losing. If the enemy team is dominating, you can hold the line from here and keep punishing them, stopping them from fully surrounding your spawn. That gives your team at least some chance to stage a comeback. Also, don't forget you've got a great line of sight across to the opposite bank. It's always worth checking every now and then. Sometimes you'll catch someone trying to lock down the upper spawn from there, and if this main spot is already taken, no worries. There's a solid alternative position just a few meters away that you can fall back to. This spot only really works well for tanks with good gun depression. You'll still be covering the same key areas of the map, but from here you get a better angle and more visibility, though you're also a bit more exposed, especially if the enemy pushes down the right flank. Ideally, you want to rotate between the two positions throughout the match, adjusting your angles depending on the situation. A common scenario is when an enemy spots you and just sits there aiming at your position, waiting for you to peek. That's your cue to switch spots. Keep moving between the two as needed to stay unpredictable and maintain control. If your team starts gaining the upper hand and you haven't seen enemies for a while, or if you're looking to make a flanking play, it's a good time to go on the offensive. First, you want to move into grid G5. From there, you'll get partial visibility on point B and the opposite side of the river. After that, push into F6. There's a hill there you can use for cover, and it gives you control over the main roads enemy tanks take when leaving their lower spawn. You'll even have a small window to take shots at enemy SPAA sitting right on their spawn. Just be mindful of your positioning. Now, technically, you can head to this area right at the start of the match, but I usually prefer to play it safe early on, pick up a few kills from the more defensive spot, and secure enough spawn points to guarantee I can bring in a plane later and keep helping the team from the air. Hope you guys found this video helpful. Thanks a lot for watching. That's all from me for today. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.